Hello everyone and welcome back to another how to draw video, or in this case a how to marker video. Now the last video I posted was only a day ago, so it's I've had quite a bit of time over the Christmas holidays to make more videos than usual, and today we're going to be doing the second project, which is Touka from Tokyo Ghoul. But this specific project is going to be on her kagani? I'm not quite sure how you pronounce it, but the kind of weird stuff that ghouls have which they use as weapons. And maybe I'll show you how to do the character another time, but the main focus of this video is going to be on this bit here, because we're going to be blending colours which are on the opposite ends of the spectrum. Now in Tokyo Ghoul, Tokyo has a kind of red kind of leaf pattern which goes on to kind of dark blue at the edges, but we're going to blend this for the sake of the exercise to make a really cool kind of gradient pattern on here. So first off, I'm just going to do a really quick demonstration of how to blend different colours. Okay, so this is the sheet that we had for Totoro the other day. So I'm going to be blending two totally different colours. So I'm going to have this orange and this dark blue. So I'm going to just set down the base tone here. Now this is a lot trickier than just blending gradients such as that, where we had the same pens. This time you have to have a sort of middle ground, a kind of colour in between, for example the red. And you apply the red in the middle, and then you can kind of go back over with your original lighter colour to blend that in. So we've got the gradient on that side, got the blue, blue on that side, a bit more orange, and you keep on doing this until you get the gradient effect which you want. So you can sort of see it kind of starting to come together there, but I'm painfully aware that it's on top of my drawing and I don't want it to go through. So anyway, that's kind of the basis of it. So first I'm going to start off with this Baranium yellow colour using the chisel technique. I'm not going to go a whole way on this, but I'm just going to go for about halfway, just putting down flat colour, very light, extremely light yellowish colour. Quite easy like that. And then I'm just going to go in with a slightly darker yellow, which is in this case canary yellow. I'm just going to put down. It's all about using the kind of gradient. So to make this look as good as it can do, I'm just going to be blending them quite closely, using colour, quite a lot of colours in the kind of same spectrum as the first one, and then go back over with our original colour. This one using the brush tip to kind of blend those two. And these are quite good because they blend quite easily, these colours. So just quickly going over like that. So quite easy for that first part. Then we go into an even darker yellow. We're not going to use too much of this, we're just going to put down a tiny little bit just to kind of soften the change into the orange that we're going to have. So quickly go back over. You can see we're starting to get that gradient already on here. Get the first one. There we go. Quite easy, like that. And then we go on to our first orange colour, which in this case is Chrome Orange, like Google Chrome. To be perfectly honest, I don't think there's much constellation there. I think that's probably a coincidence. And this one's quite a different colour from the other one, so you can see it doesn't quite blend as easily as the yellows did. So we're going to put quite a bit of that down, kind of going into the yellow one a tad. Not a lot though, because then we have to go back through our yellows to make this blend. Now it's usually better to use a kind of feathering technique, which I've not done, which I should probably do. And this kind of feathering technique is really good for blending these kind of colours, where you kind of go out. Sort of like what I did for the hair, in this kind of feathering kind of style, which looks really cool. And then you go back to your yellows. I mean, there's a lot of going backwards and forwards when you're blending with these, which is when getting blending paper really comes in useful. Getting the proper blending paper can really help when you're using markers like this. So then we've got the next orange. In this case it is cadmium. I probably pronounced that wrong. They've got weird names, all these different markers. And again, we're just going to feather that quite lightly this time. We don't need too much of this dark orange, because we're going to make way for a bit of red. This is basically just making way for the red marker that we're going to put on, which is lipstick red, which is also one of the colours that I used for the eye. I used a mixture of Copics and Pro markers for this. So for this bit I'm using Copics, but you may see me in future videos going back to my trusty Pro markers with their thin nibs, and I'm ruining my table. So just put a little bit in there, just kind of feathering that in, then going back to our darker orange just to kind of bridge the gap between the two. Now we're going to go with a very slight, I mean extremely slight bit of dark red at the top here. Like hardly any dark red, just to kind of emphasise that, give it a bit of shading. Before we go on to blues, and this is quite a drastic change really from the one at the top. We're going to go right in through the red here. Going to go right in through the red. I'm just going to go over the rest of the wing in this colour, making sure not to ruin my table, which is quite difficult. Going through, just feathering that off, and then going into the indigo colour and feathering that on top. Okay, so here is the finished picture, which we've done just to. So it's this kind of feathering technique which you want to use when blending markers, and you get this kind of smooth effect. It is hard up here to get that blue mixed in with the red, so you could be there for quite a while just trying to mix this in. It will eventually mix in with each other, but you need a bit of purple, maybe. But that's kind of like the simple kind of blending different colours into each other. So I think that looks pretty cool. And that's it for this video. If you want me to do like a how to draw video of Touka, it may be in a different pose to this, then I would be glad to imply. Next time I'm going to probably do a tutorial on hair and how to shade hair like I've done here, because I've only just figured that out myself and it looks pretty cool. So thank you for watching and I'll see you next time. Bye!